In the heart of Tennessee, nestled among the sprawling woods and forgotten paths, lies a chilling tale that has whispered through the leaves for generations. This is the story of the Bell Witch, a spirit so powerful that her name sends shivers down the spine of anyone who dares to speak it. Many have tried to uncover the truth behind the haunting, but few have dared to confront the darkness that lingers. It all began in 1804 on the Bell family farm. John Bell, a prominent farmer, and his family lived a quiet life until one fateful evening. While tending to his crops, John spotted a strange creature in the field, a dog-like figure with the head of a rabbit. Curiosity got the better of him, and he approached. As he neared, the creature vanished into thin air, leaving behind an unnerving chill in the air. Little did he know that encounter was just the beginning. Soon after, the Bell family began hearing strange noises at night, scratching sounds, disembodied whispers, and the eerie sound of someone shouting their names. At first, they dismissed these occurrences as figments of their imagination, but as the nights rolled on, their home became a battleground for the supernatural. It wasn't long before the spirit made itself known to the family. First, it tormented John Bell with taunts and insults. Then it turned its attention to John's daughter, Betsy. As she was just a girl of 12, the relentless spirit seemed to take a peculiar interest in her. Betsy could feel unseen hands pulling her hair and pushing her from her bed. She would often scream out in terror, but just as quickly as the violence began, it would stop, leaving the family confused and desperate for answers. Word spread quickly through the community about the Bell Witch, and curiosity drew people from miles around. They gathered in the Bell's home, whispering in awe and fear, each hoping to catch a glimpse of the apparitions or hear the spirit speak. In the face of such madness, the Bell family sought help from neighbors and local leaders, but the more they sought assistance, the more their troubles grew. The spirit seemed to delight in their plight. It began to engage with the townsfolk, replicating their voices, mimicking their laughter, and even predicting future events. Eager to understand the root of this supernatural torment, a group of men decided to conduct a séance in the Bell home. After hours of chanting and searching for answers, the entity finally took shape. A voice echoed throughout the room, claiming to be the spirit of a woman named Kate Batts. Kate explained that she had been wronged in life and was seeking justice from John Bell for a purported slight. Fear rippled through the crowd as Kate's revelations deepened the mystery surrounding the haunting. The spirit's message was not just one of vengeance, it was filled with chaos and retaliation. As the nights grew darker, the Bell family found themselves trapped in a nightmarish reality from which there seemed to be no escape. One chilling evening, as the wind howled outside, John Bell sat alone, pondering how to rid his family of the curse. With a heavy heart, he called upon a local seer who warned him that the only way to silence the spirit was to confront it head-on. But confronting a vengeful spirit is no ordinary task. Courage fueled John as he gathered his family one last time, determined to fight back. With Betsy at his side, the family entered the room where the spirit was known to manifest. As they called out to the Bell Witch, the atmosphere shifted, darkening as if the very air around them held its breath. A chilling voice replied, mocking John, taunting him with the fear he felt. John felt a surge of power reckoning within him, yet deep down, he wondered if he could ever be free. During a harrowing night, the Bell Witch escalated its attacks. John Bell was seized by a malaise that engulfed his entire being. Doctors were called, but none could determine the cause of his suffering. Weeks passed with no reprieve, and slowly, heartbreakingly, the toll of the haunting cast its shadow over his health. Finally, it became evident. John Bell was not merely suffering, he was being hunted by the vengeful spirit. On the fateful night of December 20th, 1820, John Bell drew his last breath, leaving behind a family shattered and a town enveloped in fear. His death would be marked by mystery and suspicion. Many believed that his demise was not of natural causes, but rather a direct result of the Bell Witch's vengeance. As word spread of his death, crowds began to gather around the Bell farm, drawn by the chilling tales of the haunted homestead and the curse that laid within its walls. Yet even in death, John Bell was not free. Legends emerged that his spirit remained tied to the land, bound by the bitterness of unresolved vengeance. But the story of the Bell Witch did not end with John Bell. As years turned into decades, the hauntings only grew in infamy. Many reported seeing figures dancing in the night and hearing the voice of the witch echo through the trees. Some even claimed to have caught glimpses of her reflection in mirrors, only for it to vanish before their eyes. The legend of the Bell Witch serves as a haunting reminder that some spirits refuse to be silenced. As generations passed, the tale grew, twisting itself into folklore that captivated and terrified all who heard it. Does the Bell Witch still roam the woods of Tennessee? Many believe that if you listen closely, you can still hear her whispers in the rustling branches, urging you to uncover the secrets hidden in the shadows. In seeking justice, did the Bell Witch achieve peace, or does she continue to haunt the land that bore her story? Those brave enough to venture near the Bell farm may just find out, but beware, for some mirrors refuse to show what we wish to see. As the years went by, the fame of the Bell Witch only intensified. Ghost hunters, paranormal investigators, and curious thrill-seekers flocked to the remains of the Bell homestead, each hoping to uncover the truth behind the enduring legend. Local lore spoke of strange occurrences, disembodied voices calling out names in the dead of night, objects mysteriously moving on their own, and a chilling presence that seemed to linger in the air. Visitors who dared to spend the night near the site often spoke of feeling an inexplicable sense of dread. Many reported seeing flashes of light darting through the trees, or feeling an unsettling coldness wrap around them, as if 1,000 eyes were watching from the shadows. But one tale in particular stood out among the countless accounts. A group of researchers decided to investigate the Bell property, armed with an array of equipment designed to capture paranormal activity. They set up cameras, EVP recorders, and even thermal imaging devices, determined to document their experience. After hours of waiting in the stillness of the night, the atmosphere became charged with an eerie energy. Suddenly, an unexplained rattle filled the air, followed by the unmistakable sound of a voice. "Leave this place!" it shouted, sending shivers down the spine of everyone present. The researchers exchanged anxious glances, uncertain whether to flee or to stay and confront the unknown. Before they could react, an unseen force knocked over one of their cameras, causing it to crash to the ground. Feeling emboldened, one member of the team called out to the spirit, "Is there something you want from us? Why do you haunt this land?" They were met with an oppressive silence, thick with tension. Then the voice returned, quieter this time, but filled with sorrow. "Justice has not been served." These words hung in the air like a dark cloud. What did it mean? The team was baffled, and they quickly scrambled to review their recordings, hoping to capture the encounter. As they huddled around their equipment, an old diary belonging to John Bell himself caught the attention of one of the researchers. It lay untouched, hidden inside an old chest they had brought with them. The diary contained entries chronicling the Bell family's torment. Within its pages, John wrote of his fears, his encounters with the witch, and the constant struggle to protect his family from her wrath. As they flipped through the weathered pages, they came across a particular entry, dated just days before his death. "I have wronged her," he wrote, "but I do not know how to make it right. My attempts to appease the spirit have only drawn her ire. She does not merely seek revenge, she seeks acknowledgement of her pain." The researchers exchanged puzzled looks, their minds racing to comprehend the implications. Had John Bell inadvertently deepened the curse by failing to address the root of the spirit's anguish? The words resonated deeply, suggesting that the Bell Witch was not simply a vengeful ghost, but a tragic figure lost in the annals of history. That night, the team decided to hold a séance, hoping to communicate directly with the spirit and gain clarity. They lit candles and formed a circle, placing the diary at the center as a symbolic gesture of understanding. With their voices intertwined, they called out to the Bell Witch, asking for her story and begging for her forgiveness. The room darkened, and an icy wind swept through, extinguishing the candles. The group huddled closer, their breaths visible in the chilling air. Then, a voice broke through the silence, carrying a weight of sorrow and desperation. "Remember me. I am Kate Batts, a name lost to time, and my pain remains unspoken." The researchers listened intently as the spirit recounted her life, how she was wronged, dismissed, and ultimately forgotten. Kate spoke of the injustices she faced and how her spirit was bound to the land, crying out for acknowledgement long after her death. Each word was heavy with emotion, and the team felt the weight of her suffering wrap around them like a shroud. In an attempt to provide solace, one of the researchers spoke gently. "We remember you, Kate. We hear your pain. We acknowledge your existence, and we seek to understand." The room grew eerily still, and in that moment, a sense of peace fell upon everyone present. The oppressive energy lightened, and Kate's voice echoed one last time. "Thank you. I can finally rest." As dawn broke, the researchers left the Bell property with a newfound understanding of the legend. No longer simply a tale of terror, but a heartbreaking narrative of a woman's neglected sorrow. They vowed to share Kate's story, ensuring that her name would not fade into the void of history. Yet, despite their desire to lay the spirit to rest, the story of the Bell Witch endured, captivating hearts and minds. Some believe that the essence of Kate Batts resides not only in the ground where the Bell Farm once thrived, but also in the memories of those who dare to remember. Today, as people continue to visit the site, they often leave offerings, flowers, tokens, and heartfelt notes as gestures of recognition and respect. The spirit of the Bell Witch still roams the woods, but now, it is said, she is less vengeful and more reflective. Those who walk where she walked have reported a lingering presence, one that watches and listens, perhaps still seeking a place in the hearts of those who remember her. As the chilling tale of the Bell Witch lives on, it serves as a haunting reminder of our own capacity for acknowledgement and compassion. For in the end, every spirit has a story, and every story yearns to be heard. The echoes of Kate Batts remind us all of the importance of recognizing pain, seeking justice, and ensuring that no story remains silenced for too long. With the passing of time, the legend of the Bell Witch transformed into a tapestry of local folklore, blending fact and fiction in ways that captivated successive generations. As stories of ghostly encounters circulated, many claimed they felt the spirit's presence near the old Bell homestead, particularly during the harvest moon when the night was thick with mystery. In the small town that surrounded the Bell farm, tales of the witch grew richer with each retelling. It wasn't unusual for families to gather around their hearths, sharing stories of encounters with the otherworldly. Some recounted whispered warnings echoing through the night, while others spoke of strange lights flickering in the trees. Children would dare one another to walk to the edge of the Bell property, coaxed into believing that bravery lay in making contact with the elusive spirit. Yet not all approached the legend with reverence. Skeptics who dismissed the haunting as mere superstition found themselves met with eerie coincidences. One such skeptic was a professor from a nearby university, a man steeped in logic and reason. He had heard of the Bell Witch often, yet remained unconvinced. Determined to debunk the myth, he decided to spend a weekend in the very heart of the Bell ghost story. Equipped with modern technology and a sense of rational skepticism, he set up camp near the remnants of the Bell homestead. As darkness descended, he began recording his observations, chuckling at the tales he deemed ridiculous. However, As the night deepened and the shadows grew long, something began to shift in the air. At first, it was a faint rustling, the soft whisper of leaves moaning in the night breeze. Then came a low, melodic humming that seemed to beckon him. He dismissed it as the wind, yet there was something unnervingly familiar about it. It was almost a lullaby, and he found himself drawn into its melancholic tune. As his mind began to wander, he noticed the temperature dropping sharply. Suddenly, his camera flickered, capturing a fleeting image, a figure standing just beyond the tree line. Heart racing, he reviewed the footage, but found nothing there. Had he imagined it? The sound of his heartbeat seemed to thrum louder than any night song, urging him to investigate. He stepped cautiously toward the tree line, feeling the weight of unseen eyes upon him. As he ventured deeper into the woods, he stumbled upon a clearing that felt oddly sacred. In its center stood an ancient tree, gnarled and twisted. Beneath it, the remnants of another time lay scattered, old trinkets, flowers, and tokens of respect people had left over the years. A chill ran down his spine as he realized he had stepped into the heart of the legend itself. Then it happened. A gust of wind swept through the clearing, and he heard a voice, soft yet commanding. "Why do you come here?" it asked. The voice, unmistakably feminine, filled him with an unshakable sense of dread. "I'm here to understand," he replied, though he questioned whether he truly meant it. "You seek to debunk?" the voice inquired, tinged with sorrow. "I awaited recognition, yet many overlook the truth." Taking a step back, he raised his camera, determined to capture this encounter. "What truth is that?" he called out, doubt mingling with curiosity. "Justice demands remembrance," the spirit replied, her tone somber. "I am both the victim and the avenger, bound to the land by the weight of my pain." The professor felt a knot form in his stomach. Logic battled with intuition. Here was an experience beyond empirical understanding, an encounter that shook the very foundation of his beliefs. But instead of fear, he felt a surge of compassion. "I'm sorry," he said softly, "for your pain. I didn't come to mock." There was a pause, and for a heartbeat, the world around him felt suspended in time. "Acknowledge my story, and perhaps my spirit may find peace," she whispered. "Share it with those who will listen and remember." Then, as quickly as it had come, the presence faded, leaving him alone once more. Heart pounding, he fled back to his camp, shaken but invigorated. The following morning he packed up, no longer solely a skeptic, but a believer in the tale of the Bell Witch and her insistent quest for recognition. From that day on, he dedicated himself to studying the folklore of the Bell Witch, weaving together the threads of individual stories into a rich narrative tapestry. He traveled the country, collecting stories, research, and perspectives from locals who had felt Kate Batts's lingering presence. The more he learned, the more he understood that the spirit was not just a ghost, but an embodiment of history, a reminder of the past that demanded to be heard. In time, the professor returned to the Bell Farm one last time. This time, he brought a crowd with him, eager to hear his findings and the story of the Bell Witch. They gathered under the ancient tree, where he shared his transformative experience. The audience hung on every word, their imaginations ignited by the haunting tale. And as he spoke of Kate Batts, the once skeptical professor felt an overwhelming sense of reverence wash over him. As dusk fell, the crowd left gifts at the base of the tree, flowers, tokens, and notes of gratitude. In that moment, something profound occurred. The undeniable energy in the air shifted, and for the first time in decades, the town felt a newfound peace. The spirit of the Bell Witch was no longer a figure of fear, but a guardian of their shared history, heard and acknowledged, leaving a legacy that intertwined the past and present. And so, the Bell Witch emerged from the shadows of history, a soul whose sorrow had transformed into something greater, a story shared among townsfolk, forever part of their identity. While darkness may have once haunted her, it was in light of remembrance that her legacy thrived, reminding all who dared to listen that some spirits refuse to be forgotten. As the seasons turned and the years rolled on, the tale of the Bell Witch continued to grow, weaving itself into the fabric of the nearby towns. Visitors flocked to the site, eager to connect with the spirit who had captivated the hearts and minds of all who dared to listen. Some came for thrills, while others were genuinely seeking understanding, hoping to glean wisdom from an age-old tragedy. Local businesses thrived. Shops sold trinkets and memorabilia claiming to connect visitors to the spirit realm. Guided tours of the historic sites around the Bell homestead became all the rage, each tour guide weaving intricate stories filled with family lore and personal experiences. Yet beneath the excitement lay a palpable sense of reverence. Kate Batts was no longer just a sinister figure. She was seen as a reminder of the importance of acknowledging those who had suffered and been forgotten. Among the tourists was a young woman named Emily, a budding filmmaker with a keen interest in the supernatural. Drawn to the legend of the Bell Witch, she started her journey with a desire to document the stories she encountered. Armed with a camera and her unwavering curiosity, Emily set off to capture the essence of the haunting and the spirit behind it. Her first stop was the old tree where the townsfolk had left their offerings. As she stood there, feeling the weight of history, she thought of the power such places hold. It wasn't just a tree. It was a testament to the community's recognition of pain and healing. She wanted to convey that message of remembrance and redemption in her film. In her quest, Emily interviewed people from all walks of life. She spoke to locals who vividly recalled stories passed down through generations, tales of encounters that sent shivers down their spines. One elderly woman recounted how her great-grandmother had spent a night in the Bell House, only to feel a hand gripping her shoulder, drawing her out of sleep. "I thought it was a nightmare," the woman said, "but my grandmother swore it was Kate. She simply wanted to be remembered." As Emily heard these stories, a theme began to emerge. Kate Batts was not merely a haunting figure, but a guardian of their collective memory. The more she delved into the lives affected by the Bell Witch, the more she uncovered the bond they all shared. One evening, after a long day of shooting, she found herself sitting on the porch of a local inn, watching the sun dip below the horizon. The air buzzed with anticipation. It was the anniversary of John Bell's death, and she could feel the energy shifting around her. The innkeeper, a stout man with a warm smile, approached her and said, "Tonight, folks like to gather by the old farm. You should join them. Kate might just show her face." With her heart racing, Emily grabbed her camera and set off towards the Bell homestead. The path was illuminated by lanterns, casting an ethereal glow. A small crowd had gathered, chanting and singing songs that echoed through the old trees. They lit bonfires, and as flames danced against the dark sky, people began to share their stories aloud, each voice threading a tapestry of memories celebrating Kate's legacy. Emily captured the scene, her camera rolling as relatives of the Bell family joined in, adding their voices to the chorus. They spoke of how Kate had bonded them through shared pain, reminding everyone of the importance of community and remembrance. "We're all here because of her," one young man declared. "Her spirit brought us together. Our stories connect like the roots of this old tree." At that moment, Emily felt an overwhelming sense of connection, not just to the people around her, but also to the spirit they honored. It was as if Kate herself was listening, her presence woven into the fabric of their gathering. The night grew thicker, the air electric with emotion, and as the last story was shared, a hush fell over the crowd. Eyes turned toward the tree, and the flame flickered in the slight breeze. Emily raised her camera, capturing the moment when whispers filled the air, gentle and haunting. "Kate, we remember you. Just then, a cold wind swept through, causing the flames to flicker and sway, and gasps echoed through the crowd. Some claimed to see shadows moving among the trees, while others felt a sudden chill, as if the spirit had come to join their celebration. The feeling was palpable, a mix of awe and reverence washed over the gathering. As the night wore on, Emily felt compelled to share what she had understood. She stepped forward, addressing the crowd. Kate's story isn't just her own. It's a reflection of all our pains and joys intertwined. In remembering her, we heal. Applause erupted, voices echoing their agreement. In that moment, the legend of the Bell Witch transcended fear. It became a symbol of unity, a reminder that even in darkness, light could be found through understanding and acknowledgement. Months later, Emily's documentary premiered at a local film festival, drawing a packed house. The audience roared with laughter and gasped in fear at the spine-tingling moments, but ultimately they were left with a profound sense of compassion. The film didn't merely recount a ghost story, it revealed the deeper truths of connection and communal memory. As her film gained recognition, Kate Batts found a new role, not just as a legend haunting the woods, but as a beacon of hope and healing in the hearts of those who remembered her. Emily continued to share the story, presenting it not as a chilling tale of horror, but as an inspiring journey toward recognition. In the quiet moments, those who approached the old Bell homestead still felt Kate's presence, whispering through the leaves, binding them as a community ready to embrace both history and the future. The story lingered on, not just in fear, but in the warmth of understanding, marking a transformation that would keep the spirit of the Bell Witch alive for generations to come. As the sun set on the old Bell homestead, the celebrations began to dwindle, but the spirit of the Bell Witch lingered in the hearts of those who gathered. Emily's documentary had sparked conversations and rekindled a sense of community. People were not only coming to honor Kate, but also to reflect on the intertwined histories that connected them all. In the aftermath of the film's success, Emily found herself invited to share her experiences at schools, community centers, and historical societies. Each time she spoke, she emphasized the importance of storytelling in preserving history and acknowledging pain. With every presentation, the legend grew richer, not just as a haunting tale, but as a narrative of resilience and understanding. One chilly autumn evening, while visiting a local historical society, Emily was approached by an elderly woman named Margaret. With a twinkle of nostalgia in her eyes, Margaret shared her own family's connection to the Bell Witch. "My great-grandmother knew the Bells personally," she began. "They lived in fear, yes, but they also found strength in their shared hardship. They would gather, talk, and support one another. That's how the community held on." Margaret's story deepened Emily's understanding of the Bell Witch's legacy. It wasn't merely about a haunting spirit, it was about a family and a community united against adversity. This insight became the anchor for her next project, a community gathering that would further celebrate the collective memory of the Bell family and their struggles. As Emily planned the event, she sought contributions from locals, stories, recipes, and artifacts that represented the spirit of the Bell homestead. She envisioned a festival that would blend the eerie essence of the Bell Witch with the warmth of community traditions. In the center of town, they would erect a display featuring photographs, letters, and mementos that encapsulated the Bell family's enduring legacy. The day of the festival arrived, bringing with it an air of excitement. The town transformed into a vibrant celebration of art, music, and storytelling. Banners fluttered in the breeze, and the smell of homemade treats wafted through the air. Emily stood at the entrance, welcoming visitors with a smile, her heart brimming with anticipation. As night fell, the centerpiece of the festival became a storytelling circle, where residents could recount their connections to the Bell Witch and share how her story had shaped their lives. Around the flickering bonfire, tales unfolded, some chilling, others heartfelt, all beautifully woven into the fabric of the community. One tale, shared by a man named Thomas, spoke of his grandmother's encounter with Kate's spirit. She was terrified, but stood her ground, he recalled. Instead of fear, she spoke to the spirit, asking it why it tormented them, and in response, she heard a voice say, "I seek to be remembered." The crowd listened intently, the flames dancing in the dark, mirroring the emotions swirling among them. As the stories flowed, there was laughter and even tears, signifying a shared understanding that haunted spirits often reflect the pain of their pasts. Emily realized that with each recounting, the Bell Witch lost some of her terrifying edge. She was transforming from a spectral figure of fear into a cherished cultural icon, a woman deserving of compassion and empathy. As the evening neared its end, Emily stepped into the circle, ready to share her own story. Kate Batts is not just a legend. She is a reminder that every community has its unspoken heartaches, she began, her voice steady. In coming together, we honor her and find healing for ourselves. With her words, a hush enveloped the crowd. We remember not just the darkness of her story, but the light it ignited within us. We are here today because we choose to listen. Just then, a cool breeze swept through the clearing, and those present felt a gentle rustling in the trees. Margaret smiled knowingly. "That's Kate, listening and rejoicing," she said, and a wave of warmth washed over the gathering. That night, as the festival concluded with laughter and cheers, something profound shifted within the community. The tales of the Bell Witch had united them, reminding everyone that from pain could come extraordinary strength and resilience. They celebrated not just Kate's memory, but their shared humanity, a newfound understanding that every whispered name held the weight of stories untold. In time, the Bell Witch became a symbol of healing and storytelling, a testament to the power of connection amidst adversity. Each year, the festival would draw more people, not just to confront the specter of the past, but to celebrate the unity forged through it. As for Emily, she continued to capture stories, always searching for those moments where the past and present collided. The Bell Witch became a living legend, changing shape with every retelling, reminding everyone that stories have the power to connect souls, heal wounds, and, perhaps most importantly, ensure that even the darkest narratives are not forgotten. In the heart of Tennessee, beneath the sprawling trees and over the years, the Bell Witch's legacy endured, a haunting melody echoing through the ages, calling for acknowledgement but offering a sense of peace, where once there was only fear. The echoes of her story, now steeped in compassion, would reverberate in the hearts of all who listened, ensuring that while Kate Batts may have been lost to time, her spirit would forever be remembered.